how to actually listen to your body. So I'm always telling you that you need to get better at listening to your body instead of turning to outside rules to tell you what to do. But what does that really mean? So in this video, I'm going to give you the 10 steps that you need to do in order to actually learn to listen to what your body is telling you. Step 1, start cultivating your awareness through journaling. I think it's really hard to start learning to listen to your body if you're not tracking it somehow. And obviously journaling is the best way to do that. In this journal, you really need to make sure that you are tracking anything that is linked to you trying to listen to your body's signals. So anything regarding what you're eating, or like exercise or energy levels or emotions, the way you feel, all of that. In this journal, you can record how you feel before a meal and like after a meal, and after a walk maybe, or after a good night's sleep, or after a good crying session, whatever. Just a little reminder that you can find all of the services I offer on my website, and that's going to be the first link in the description. You can check out things that are paid, like my nutrition coaching sessions or my courses, but there's also a ton of free material, from webinars to ebooks to checklists to challenges, so make sure to check that out. At first, I wouldn't worry too much about what you're writing. This will kind of come naturally. As you go, you'll start to find that certain things you write are really helpful to you, and that way you can start to recognize certain patterns and to realize that certain things you're doing are affecting you in that way, and you'll learn to really understand yourself better. Step number 2, you need to start practicing mindful eating. And this means that you need to turn your full attention to your meal whenever you eat. You really need to make sure that all distractions are away so you can really focus on what you're eating. And when you do eat, it's important that you focus on the visual aspect of the food, that it looks good to you, and also obviously the taste aspect, but also all the different flavors that you're feeling, the different textures and the way it's making you feel. And make sure that you're eating really slowly, that you're entirely done with the bite you have in your mouth before you reach for another bite, and that you are really focusing on the present moment. And this will really help you to get into the third step that I'm going to talk about. But if you need more information on how to eat mindfully, check out my mindful and intuitive eating playlist right here or in the description. Step 3, you need to start listening to your body's hunger and fullness signals. So instead of listening to outside rules telling you that it's a certain time so you need to eat, or you have a certain amount of food on your plate that you need to finish, or that you need to eat this food because that's what is planned, start listening to what your body is telling you instead. You need to start to recognize the physical sensations of hunger and fullness. So some of them are pretty obvious, like if you have your stomach that growls when you're hungry, or if you feel like you are super like full and bloated. You know, it can be easy to tell that you should stop eating. But some signals are a little bit more subtle, like maybe if you're hungry, you'll start to get a little bit dizzy, or you'll start to get like a little headache, or you'll start to feel that you don't have energy, or that you're like irritable, moody, like hangry. And for fullness, you'll start to feel like the food you're eating doesn't taste as good as it did in the beginning, that you're not sure if you want to eat this food, this specific type of food anymore. So you need to learn to listen to all these signals, and then you actually need to act on them, because recognizing signals is one thing. If you can be like, okay, I'm hungry, okay, I'm full, but if you don't act on them, then it's kind of useless. So if you start getting hungry, but you're like, oh, I'm hungry, too bad, I still have to wait 2 more hours before my break, that's not teaching your body that it can trust you and that you're listening to it. Same thing if you're full, but if you're like, oh, I'm full, but it tastes good, so I'm just gonna keep on eating, your body's gonna be like, what is even the point of sending these signals? If you want to learn more about listening to your body's hunger and fullness, then don't hesitate to use the hunger fullness scale. I'm gonna put it on the screen, and I also have a video about it right here that you can check out. And basically this scale goes from 1 to 10, and 1 is when you are ravenous, extremely hungry, and 10 is where you are extremely full, like overstuffed, almost sick, and 5 is like the neutral middle ground that you should kind of strive to be at when you're like in between meals. And basically you never want to get to like 1 or 10. You always want to stay around like 2 and 8, let's say. And I'll let you watch the video if you want more information on that, but definitely check that out. Number 4, you need to start being mindful of your cravings and you need to start interpreting them. If you're craving chocolate, it could be because your body is giving you a signal that it wants more magnesium, and so it's kind of driving you towards foods that have magnesium, but it could also just be that you're really craving chocolate and that you need to feel comforted, and that is the emotional satisfaction that you need eating the chocolate. The more in tune you are with yourself, the more you'll be able to spot the difference and to spot the like intentions behind these cravings. And usually if you're craving a specific type of nutrient, it will kind of appear out of the blue. It may be something that you're not really used to, and then it will disappear when you've given your body the nutrient it needs. Like, I know people who don't like red meat who start craving red meat when they are like low in iron, and then once they get their iron levels back up again, they just don't want it anymore. But if you're dealing with comfort cravings, like emotional cravings, it likely will be pretty regular, like pretty much the same thing. Maybe you'll find that every day after dinner you crave ice cream, and maybe that's because it's something that's comforting to you after like a long work day. So you need to learn to honor your cravings in a way that feels right for you, and this means that you don't want to go overboard and like eat all the cravings that you have the second that you have them, because then your body's not going to feel good. But also you want to make sure that you respect the cravings and you honor them and you have the food that you are wanting and your body is telling you that it needs. Number 5, embrace gentle nutrition. Gentle nutrition is the happy middle between eating foods that make you feel good physically and eating foods that satisfy your emotional cravings. So to practice gentle nutrition, you need to make sure that you're incorporating a variety of foods and foods that are considered to be healthy for you, but also that you enjoy. And there can be some foods that are healthy and that you don't love, and there can be some foods that you love but aren't that healthy. That's okay. The bulk of the food you eat should be both healthy and satisfying foods that you like. Practicing gentle nutrition is also being moderate in the types of foods that you eat and making sure that you're eating in a way that is balanced. So let's say that you're really craving some pizza, but you know that eating the entire pizza and just that won't make you feel your best. Then maybe you can have like a couple slices of pizza or like half the pizza and then have a salad on the other half and then have some water and some fruit along with that. Then when it comes to eating veggies, for instance, let's say you absolutely love spinach but you really hate broccoli, then never have broccoli again. That's totally fine. Focus on spinach and other veggies you do like. I have an entire video on gentle nutrition. If you want to learn more about that, you can check it out right here or in the description. Number 6, you need to start observing your food choices and your body's reactions. So let's say that you really like dairy, but every time you have it, you feel that it like bloats you. Or you really like having like a specific type of candy or like sugary treat, but anytime you do that, you feel like you have an energy crash. Maybe you'll realize that adding a certain type of veggies to your meals just ruins your entire meal because you hate them. Or maybe that you love hamburgers, but they seem to trigger inflammation for you. And what you need to do is that you need to use these observations to adjust your diet accordingly in a way that feels good to you. Again, good for your body, but not too restrictive. So intention is really the key word here. You don't want to be avoiding dairy because you heard that for some people it can give acne. You want to avoid dairy if if individually it makes you bloat, for instance. It's not about cutting out sugar because you don't want to gain weight, but it's about being mindful of the times when you do have certain sugary snacks if they make you feel like they drain your energy. These things are all very personal. You shouldn't be basing yourself off of assumptions or what other people do. You really need to find what works for you. Number 7, you need to be engaging in physical and emotional awareness. Is your mental health doing okay? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling sad? How is your body doing? Do you feel like you're 100% in terms of energy, in terms of health, or do you feel like you may be a little like lack a little bit of energy, or that you're maybe like a little sick or you're not your best. Our bodies give us lots of signals to tell how we are feeling, and we just need to be able to listen to these signals and again to act on them. If your body's telling you I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, and you're able to understand that, but then you're not giving it some rest, it's not going to work. Don't hesitate to practice activities like yoga or meditation, for instance, where you're really focused and aware on like your body and what you're feeling. And don't hesitate to also write everything in your journal. You can say like, oh, today I felt very tense and then I did some yoga and then I felt better. Or today I felt like my head was like all over the place. Then I had like a meditation session and I was able to think more clearly. Number 8, prioritize sleep and rest. So it's really important that you make note of your sleep patterns, because we're very conditioned to sleep a certain way, and people will say it's much better for you to go to bed super early and wake up super early as well, but that's not the case for everyone. For instance, for me, it's not. I function much better if I'm able to sleep in the mornings, but then obviously I stay up late as well. Of course, it may not always be possible to respect your ideal sleeping pattern with your schedule, but it's good to know it and to adapt when you can, like on the weekends or on vacation or on days where you work from home or whatever. It's also important to be responsive to your body's need for rest. If you feel like you need a nap and you're in a position to do so, then have your nap. If you feel like you want to go to bed earlier and again you can do that, then do it. Step 9, you need to start practicing self-care and having self-respect. It's important that you engage in self-care activities that resonate with you and that make you and your body feel good. It could be things as simple as taking like a long bubble bath or enjoying a nice cup of coffee in like the calm in a calm area, or wearing clothes that make you feel confident, or just doing any activity that you really enjoy. Whenever things don't happen the way that you really want them to, or when you're disappointed or when you're frustrated or anything like that, make sure that you treat yourself with kindness. You can observe things that are happening and you can like write them down in your journal, but it should be from like a neutral observer, non-judgmental standpoint, or as if you like were a friend or something, because you really need to be respectful in the way that you talk about yourself. And number 10, strive for continuous reflection and adjustment. It's important that you consistently review your journal entries that you should be making from step 1, and that you learn from your experiences, that you realize that this diet, for instance, is not making you feel great, or that this way of sleeping isn't working for you, or that this exercise isn't really doing it for you, or that you really don't feel good after this food or that thing. Whatever it is, you really need to make sure that you are looking at all your notes and adjusting. The key is really for this to evolve. It's not for you to feel like you need to listen to your body once and then know everything and then it's supposed to stay that way. No. Things will fluctuate, things will evolve, and you just need to learn to adapt to it, and that's really the key. Your body's not always going to be telling you the same thing. This may change from day to day, and this may change from like month to month, and it may be like this for a couple years and then change entirely, and you still need to be able to listen to those signals so you can adjust accordingly. That's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.